In this video, we're going to look at using some basic or common SQL commands, and this is for our contacts database that was created in a previous video. So if you don't have a database and you don't have the contacts table, please go back and watch that video and set up the contacts table. So I'm logged into my phpMyAdmin program, and in my contacts table I can click on that and see the structure of it. I can also go to structure and see more details of the field names of what I have in here. And so we're going to run through just some basic SQL commands to first of all add a record to the table. So I'm going to go to SQL, and you can see it gives me a select star from contacts where one. So this is to get a listing of everything that's in the table. But right now we don't have anything in the table, so I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to do an insert command. So insert into, and then I want to add this to my contacts table. So I'll say contacts, and then I'm going to specify values. So we'll say values, and then the first value that I'm going to add is a 1 for the user ID. Then I'm going to add my email address and first name, and then last name, and then finally a phone number. And then from here I can just click go, and then I get it confirmed, one row inserted, and then it shows me the SQL statement that was just run. So now if I want to confirm and see that in my table, I can go back to browse and see the record that was added here. Now to do some more things, let's put in a whole bunch of records, and instead of adding them in one by one, let's run an SQL command to insert a whole group of them. So I have a text file available for you to download, and all you want you to do is take the text from that text file and copy and paste it in here. So that text file, once you open it up, it's called names.txt. Just want you to copy this. This is an SQL statement that is going to add a whole bunch of different names and information in there. Notice that I have the values in, and then I also have this in the right order so that the email is after the ID, then first, then last, then phone, so that these will get put into the right fields. So I'm going to copy that, come back in here, delete this, paste in, and then I'm going to click go, and we have 9 rows inserted. So then if I go back to browse, here we've got a bunch of names in here. And now we can use some SQL commands to go in and work with these records. So now I'm going to switch back to the SQL window, and we can use a select query. Select allows us to select everything from the table. Now this is going to select everything from the table, so we can just run that and see what happens when we do that. And we get everything from the table. Let's go back to the SQL, and instead of getting everything, let's look for somebody whose last name has hide in it. So select star from contacts where, and let's say last. Now I can type it in. I can also use the columns over here. I I can add last from there rather than typing it in. This is helpful so that you don't have to remember what the names of the fields were that you used. So where last, as we said, equals, and let's find hide, H-Y-D-E. So let's click go. And here we were able to find just the one field that had H-Y-D-E for their last name. Let's try doing a search that has more flexibility than doing the exact H-Y-D-E. Let's see if we wanted to find everybody who has an old AOL email address. So if I go back to SQL, and we'll select star from contacts, and instead of everything from contacts, let's just do last name. Let's do first name and last name, and I do need from contacts where, and let's say email is like, and then I'm going to use a %sign. $sign represents any number of characters, 0 or more, which means there could be 0 in front of AOL.com, but if there's 0, then there could also be any number of any other characters in front of AOL. So let's run a go, and we have an error. Unknown column, first, last in field list. And that's because I need to put a comma in here to separate those two field names. So let's try going again. And we have success. So here we can see we've got two people who have an AOL email address. And also you can see it says current selection does not contain a unique column. So often it's a good idea to also get the primary key or your unique identifier so that in case you need to edit one of these, you have a way of finding the exact match. So let's edit this. So we can come up here and click edit, and I'm going to add ID here, and then we'll have first and last, and we'll add in email. And so here we have our output results. So next, let's take a look at how we can use order by in order to put our results list in a specific order. So I'm going to go back to my SQL statement, and I'm going to take out the where. So let's just do ID, first, last, and email from contacts. And let's put them in order by last name. So we'll say order by, and then we'll just add last. Right, so we're going to select ID, first, last, email from the contacts, and order by last name. And the default is to put them in ascending order. And if we wanted to put them in descending order, let me go back here and edit. Then we can use the DESC for descending, and then now we have them in reverse alphabetical order. Now for updating, we can use the update command, and I'll go back to our SQL, and let's come in and say update. So this is to change, and our table from our database, and we're going to say set, which means to change, and I'm going to change email equal to, and then I'm going to put in a new email address. And we also want to be specific about the record that we're changing. If not, it's going to change everybody's email, which is not a good thing to do. So we'll say where ID equals, and I'm going to put in an exact match for the primary key. So if I click go, it shows a confirmed message, and we can go back to browse and take a look at the content, and it did change her email or his email. Delete. When we delete a record, it's permanent. Now we can come in here and click delete, but we've been working with SQL statements to manage the content in here. So we'll do the same thing with delete. So let's clear this out, and let's say delete from contacts where, and let's do ID equals 1. So we're going to delete from contacts where the ID is 1. So the one that you hand typed in originally. Okay, and then we'll do go. And it double checks, are you really sure that that's what you want to delete? And we'll click OK. And it should be gone. So we'll go back to browse. And record number 1 with the ID of 1 is gone. So those are some of very basic SQL commands that you may be running. So to select and insert and update and delete. Now this is while working in phpMyAdmin, and we'll have other videos that will demonstrate how to do it through using PHP that's going to connect to your backend database here. So then you don't have to go in to the database here to make changes or search information. You'll be able to do it from a web interface.